Guys, days do not get as bad as that. Like that was a very bad day. Like I literally have like 10 different things that went wrong today. Like that was a horrific day, and it was, to make it worse, it came on a day that we did not expect at all. That was absolutely horrific. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal nil match reaction. We have a lot to talk about today. First time we are wearing this jersey did not work out the way we were expecting, and a lot of things went wrong today, man. Saliba picking up a red card, having to play another game with 10 men on top of that. It means he's going to miss the Liverpool game next week. That is very, very crucial. On top of that, Kivia, the guy we brought in to cover in defense, he has a horrific moment. Rare did not look good today. The first time he starts Merino in the number 10 position, he's having to do a lot of defensive work on that day. Sterling on his, basically first start in the Premier League is having to be subbed off and stuff. Like, that was a horrific day. We conceded 2 goals, we didn't score. That is the first away loss of the year. That is the first time we've lost an away game this entire year. The entire year, this is the first time we've lost an away game. Also, the first defeat of the season. Just an overall horrific day. And we have a lot to discuss. I'm absolutely down, man. Like, I'm so sad, man. Like, this basically spoils the entire weekend. Like, I don't even feel like I could watch any other game. This is horrific. That was a very, very bad day. It was not a great day. And on top of that, Martinelli missing that chance and us conceding from a set piece 90 seconds later. On top of that, Trossard making that mistake. That was a very bad day, guys. That was a very, very bad day, and we have a lot to discuss today. Let me know what you made of the game. I asked you guys on Facebook and also on the YouTube poll yesterday as a joke. I put a question yesterday night, and I asked you guys, how do you feel ahead of this game? Do you have a bad feeling about it, or are you confident about this one? We should have known. We should have known. We should have known it was going to be one of these days. Absolutely horrific day. Absolutely horrific day. A lot to discuss. Let me know how you guys are feeling as we get to the match reaction. How will you start? Sterling says Asiwaju. Sincerely speaking, Atita is a useless coach. That is a funny comment. How will you start Sterling? I think Sterling was our best player. I actually think he shouldn't have come off. So we'll talk about that. Over back passes, causes red, and team lost points. This is what overconfidence could do, and failure to utilize our chances, says Prince. And Mubarak as well. Horrible day, a lot to discuss. Let's get into it. So let's start the lineup before we go to the match reaction. Let's start match reaction, but let's start the lineup. So this was a lineup today. A few changes because of the injuries, obviously. Ryan goal, back 4 of Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White. Ben White is back, very happy with that. And looking at that defense still able to do a job, right? Yes, we are missing Timber and players like that, but that is absolutely fine, even without Tomiyasu and Timber. That's a back 4 that should be able to do the job. Partey had a rest during the international break, great. Declan Rice and Merino. Merino played very well for Spain recently, and Rice always does the job. He scored recently for England. Midfield, perfect as well. No problem with the midfield at all. Up front, Saka did not make it, so Sterling came in for him, and then Trossard on the left side, and then Havertz up front. Havertz as well, he rested the entirety of the international break as well. So that's an okay lineup. I don't have a problem with the lineup, considering we don't have Saka, and Martinelli came like half injured. So if we had won the game today, Martinelli would not even have come on. We literally brought him on because it was an emergency situation. So for you, Asiwaju says, why did Sterling start? We have no other option really, because unless you start Jesus on that side. Zinchenko is back on the bench. Lewis Kelly, Kivio, Jorginho, Nwaneri, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, Kabia. Gabriel was our captain today. Gabriel led out the team today, and things are looking good. We coming back from international break, win this game, go top of the table. We should have known. It's never as easy as that. It is never as easy as that, never straightforward as that. And actually, all the games that we've played in the Premier League this season, I think the only kind of normal game that we've had was the Wolves one. Every other one has had drama. 3 games have had red cards, and Southampton, Leicester have had to score late. Like, literally every single game has had drama for us. Like, no game has been straightforward apart. Even if you go to the Champions League, the Atalanta one as well, the penalty and all. Literally the only good game like straightforward game that we've had was Wolves. Yes, we picked up good results, but the only straightforward game, maybe Wolves and Aston Villa, I'd say, maybe 2 games out of like the 9 that we've played. So I was expecting a win today. Most of you expecting a win today. Why not? This is a game that we always win. The squad, even without Saka, I actually did not want Saka to start anyway. And Martinelli, if he's injured, they didn't want him to start as well because you don't want to risk players. And the fixtures that are coming up against Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, Inter Milan, you need those players for those fixtures. So I was like, listen, this team should be able to do the job. Like, like even if you don't like Sterling and players, these are players that have played in the Premier League for so many years. Like, it's not the first time they're playing like in the Premier League. So against Bournemouth, like, we should be able to beat Bournemouth with this team. Actually, Sterling's favorite opponent is Bournemouth. He scored for Man City, for Liverpool, for Chelsea against Bournemouth. So I did not have a problem with Sterling starting this particular game. So as someone has said in the chat, you shouldn't be overconfident. That is for sure. I mean, these days I'm very confident in Arsenal. I don't usually expect us to lose too many games. Now, this is what I predicted at the start of the season. I said we are going to win the league. We're going to win 30 games. You're going to draw 4 and you're going to lose 4. That was my prediction. I said we are going to lose 4 games this season. We're not going to finish unbeaten. We are going to lose 4 games. Did I expect Bournemouth to be one of those games? Not really. But I said we are going to lose 4 games, draw 4 games. And someone said if we lose 4 games, it's not enough to win the league. Fair enough. But that is 94 points. I think if we get 94 points, we win the league. Now, we have already drawn 2. We've lost 1. So that means, according to my prediction, if you're still going to win the league, we can only draw 2 more and lose 3 more. So 5 more opportunities for error. And now we're competing with both Man City and Liverpool, so you never know. They could both cross 90 points and you'll need like a run of like 15 games winning to go top of the table. So that was my prediction at the start of this season. So I still expected us to lose 4 games. But this particular one, I did not expect us to lose this particular game. So how did you start the game? What did you guys make of the first 50 minutes of that game? Now, very slow. My first thought of the first 50 minutes was, okay, this is a bit slow. We've not really come out of the block quick or trying to create chances and all that. It was very slow. Now, what is the reason for that? Do you think we usually do that a lot, or do you think it's because of international break? Or let me know what's the reason for us starting that game that slowly? But I was still not concerned. Even if you start the game slowly, there's still another 8 minutes of the game to go. You're still going to get a couple of opportunities. As long as you take the opportunities and score them, that is what you need to do. So the first scare of the game was from David Raya. David Raya was all over the place today, and that was the first problem today. David Raya was all over the place today. He was giving away the ball a couple of times, like even in the second half, the one he tried to kick and miskicked it. Like, he doesn't usually do that. So starting with Raya, it was a very, very bad day for Raya in terms of the kicking and concentration and all that. Very terrible day. What he did in that first half, giving Semenyo the ball, that was the first scare. Semenyo had a shot and it should have been 1-0 to Bournemouth. Like, if it was a different team, that could have been 2-0 in the first half if they took their chances. But it's a scare. We've not been punished. 50 minutes in, let's wake up and let's control the game and let's get the goals that we usually do at the Vitality Stadium. That did not happen as well. Now, basically between the 15th minute and the red card, nothing else really happened. He didn't really have a shot on target. Bournemouth are creating a couple of chances, yes, but nothing really happened. So it was looking like one of those games that we'll need to win 1-0 or with the set piece or something. But we had other plans for today. Yet another red card. Last season we picked up 2 red cards. The previous season we had 1 red card. We've had 3 red cards in the last 2 seasons combined. We've already had 3 this season within the first 7-8 games of the season. That is a problem. Now, who do we blame for this red card? First of all, Trossard. That pass was absolutely horrific. That was such a bad pass. You cannot give a pass like that. You rather just put the ball outside for a throw-in. Like, instead of giving the ball like literally in behind Saliba. Saliba was pushing forward. Gabriel was pushing forward because, Trossard has the ball already. Let's control the game. Let me push forward. We're going to be okay in this situation. The moment you make that mistake, you put your defenders in problems. And again, it's been happening. Trossard is our best finisher. But those kind of errors in that kind of game, you don't want that, You do not want that kind of error in that particular game. So you 100% has to take the blame. And especially, I never forget about the Aston Villa game that he was like, I need to start games. When you start a game, you cannot make that kind of mistake. And if it's a game that is very tight and Bournemouth are looking up for it, you're not going to get too many chances. Don't make any mistakes. Keep it tight. You score 1 goal and you get out of there. Trossard is the first person to blame for that error. Very, very bad pass. Now we come to Saliba. Don't make the foul. Don't make the foul. I know we can bring up stuff like Saka was fouled 1-on-1 against Aston Villa a couple of seasons ago. They're not given a red card. That's fine. I do personally think it is a red card. And do I think Saliba should have brought the guy down? I don't know if it's instinct. It could be instinct to just grab the guy and foul him. But I think that is a bad decision. That is a very bad decision. You cannot do that. Let the guy go and score. We are 28 minutes into the game. We still have another 70 minutes of the game to go. Just let him go and score. It doesn't necessarily mean he's going to score. Ray has been very good for us this season. You never know you could make the save. Just let the guy pass 1-on-1. Let's see how he does. You cannot commit that foul in that situation because the referees are going to get the chance to. The referees cannot wait to send Arsenal players off anyway. I think it is a red card, but the moment you do that, the VAR cannot wait to. Even Howard Webb. Look at Howard Webb. Howard Webb is probably talking to the VAR, telling them, "Listen, it's Arsenal, guys. You make sure this is a red card." He's probably saying that they cannot wait to give us red cards, but we cannot be giving them chances to give us a red card, and that was a red card. And he's only going to miss one game. It's not 2 games or 3 games. If you've seen that anyway, it's not going to be 2 or 3 games. It's a last man tackle. So he's only going to miss 1 game. The only problem with that, the game that he's going to miss is against Liverpool, and Timber is also injured at the moment. That means, and Kivio will also come to Kivio today, you probably cannot start him in that game. So who starts? We always find a situation where you're always going to find ourselves we always find a way to put Zinchenko at left back. Like literally Zinchenko has come back, and the game that is next up is the game that we usually hate Zinchenko playing, Liverpool against Salah, when we could easily find ourselves having to play Zinchenko in that game again. Nightmare. That is double punishment for us. Losing Saliba and Ali that game and having to play the entire game with 10 men, and it's 0-0. It's going to be hard to get a goal and defend. And then number 2 is missing the Liverpool game next week. That it's now a must win since we lost today, we lost today. Next week becomes a must win. So that red card absolutely horrific. And the way it happened, 2-3 bad decisions, Trossard's pass and Saliba fouling the guy. Just let him score. Just let him score. We can score goals. We scored against Bournemouth 3 goals the last 4 games. Just let him score. And you never know. They missed a lot of 1-on-1 chances today, like clear-cut chances. He could have missed that one as well. So just let him score. Now, from that point on, the game becomes very, very hard. The game becomes very, very hard from that point on. And another game with 10 men. This is 3 games. And the problem with that, you're having to work very hard. So already we're going into the Shakhtar game. Players are tired. Like Declan Rice had to work incredibly hard today. He was okay today. Partey had to work incredibly hard today as well. Merino, those 3 midfielders, I don't think they did anything wrong. They had to work a lot today. And that means against Shakhtar, they're already tired and you're playing on the Tuesday and you've had to work so hard already in this particular game. So it's like 3-4 punishments from one decision. But now you have to find a way to get out of there with 3 points either way, because dropping points against Bournemouth is a no-no. You have to find a way to defend and try and get a goal. Take any chance. Now, when you're down to 10 men, any chance that you're going to get, you're going to score. You have to score. I do agree. We do definitely need a striker in January. 100% we need a striker in January. But let's also not act like even if you get a striker, some of those chances are still going to drop to Martinelli, to Saka, to Havertz. So you still need Martinelli to score his chance. You still need, that like half opportunity that dropped to Merino, put it on target. You still need to take your chances, because even if you have a strike and the chance drops to Martinelli, he still has to score his chance. If he doesn't score, he is still in a bad place. So in this particular game, you need to take your chance. Now, where I don't agree with the earlier comment about why did I start Sterling, I think Sterling was our best player in that like 5 minutes where we were down to 10 men. He was the one actually pushing us forward, and he created like a couple of chances. I did not want him to go off. He looked like our best outlet in terms of pace going forward and to create a chance. It was Sterling who was playing well. So I definitely do not agree with people saying don't start Sterling. Here's the problem. Sterling was not the Arsenal problem today. We had like 10 other problems on top of Sterling. Sterling was not a problem today. We had 10 to 20 different issues. Now, I don't agree with you saying Arteta is a useless coach for starting Sterling. Because my opinion is, why the hell did you remove Sterling? Because he was our best player in that situation. You could do 2 things. Either you just keep it the way it is. Now, there's also a couple of truths. Yes, Bournemouth did create like 2-3 chances as we were down to 10 men. They did like open us up so easily. So maybe he panicked and he was like, okay, let's take out a forward play and add a defender and let's keep it at 0-0 until like the second half or something. But I don't think you have to really, though. I don't think you have to, like, in that first half, like take off a forward player for a defender. We can do that maybe at halftime after we score a goal, because this is a game that we must win. I do understand, like in a game like against Man City or Tottenham, you can keep it tight and try and score one goal. That is absolutely fine. Against Man City, I wanted us to bring on 10 defenders to get that 2-1 win or a 2-2 draw, whatever. This particular game, you have to try and keep on attacking, try and create a couple of chances, score a goal, and then you go defensive. So I did not agree with Sterling going off. And number two, if we had to take someone off and bring in a defender, not Sterling. You either take off the player. I know Trossard is clutch and whatever, but he's the one who's made the mistake. He's the one that is not looking good. You take off Trossard and you bring on the defender. Because Sterling, we cannot just jump on a player because you don't like him, because I already see people saying Sterling was not to blame today at all. Sterling was our best player for that 25 minutes. The truth is, Trossard was the one. Sterling was better than Trossard in that 25 minutes, true or false. He was better than all of them in that forward line. So you take off Trossard in that situation, you bring on the defender, you keep Sterling. Because of the pace as well, I did not agree with that decision at all. So he did make that decision. Merino had a shot that was created by Sterling, almost 1-0, but didn't take that chance. And then Raya was a bit busy between that and halftime. And then Kivior did come on for Sterling in the 36th minute. So that was like 8 minutes after the red card. Raya did have a couple of saves right before halftime, but it was still 0-0 at halftime, and we needed a big second half. We definitely needed a big second half. You need to get a couple of chances. You need to use any chance that comes your way, because in this kind of game, it doesn't matter. When you're down 10 men, 9 men, whether you're playing against Bolton or whichever team, it's going to be harder. If you had 11 men, you're probably going to win the game. But when you're down to 10 men, it becomes harder. It's as simple as that. Like every single game that we've had 11 men, we've basically won. We won against Aston Villa, we won against Tottenham, against Wolves, against all of those guys. The games that we're down to 10 men, we found it very hard. Man City didn't create any chance, against Brighton, against Bournemouth as well. It's not rocket science. When you get a red card, the game becomes hard. So you need to take a chance. Any chance that comes your way, you need to take it. So the second half starts once again. No sub at halftime. That is okay. I wanted us to, at that point, bring on Martinelli around the 60th minute for Trossard, just to have the pace later on in the game. That is what I wanted. But the second half, try and cover those first 15 minutes, try and get to the 60th minute without conceding a goal, and then you can try and get a goal, because it's already halftime 0-0. You've already made the sub of taking out Sterling, so already know what we need to do. You can just defend for those 15 minutes and then bring on Martinelli with the pace. Semenyo had a very good chance in the first minute of the second half, and he should have scored. That should have been 1-0 way early. That should have been 1-0. Kai was making some good runs. He was giving some energy. He won us a couple of corners. He was looking good, and basically nothing else happened between the 50th minute and the 65th minute. And I was still confident at that point. I was like, okay, we just need one chance. That one chance, that just to score a goal, just one chance. I should have known once again. So Martinelli comes on for Trossard in the 63rd minute. I'm okay with that sub. We have the pace. And I was actually asking for Martinelli to come on. And when Martinelli came on, you could see the energy. Like he pressed right away, and you could tell the energy. The players were like, okay, Martinelli's on the pitch. Let's give him some passes. He has the pace. He can cross the ball. Martinelli even had a very, very good cross into the box. We almost scored from it, and things were looking good. And then came the Martinelli chance. Now, that kind of chance when you're down to 10, even when you have 11 men, you have to take that chance, because Martinelli has already missed that kind of chance many times this season. It's already happened like 5 or 6 times this season. You cannot do it a 7th and 8th time. And when you're down to 10 men, that becomes very, very important. That chance, you have to be clinical. You have to finish that chance. And we can argue if Martinelli scores that chance, Arteta probably brings in another defender right away, and we defend that game and you get a 1-0 win. The moment you get that, we miss that chance, we still try to, go forward and they win a corner and they score from that. But that Martinelli chance, we don't punish opponents. That's a problem. They made a mistake, Bournemouth. We made a mistake. Bournemouth got a penalty in this court. They made a mistake when it was 0-0. We did not take the chance. Martinelli missed that chance. And, as I said, yes, so I want us to get a striker in January, but that chance still falls to Martinelli, even if we have a striker on the pitch. So Martinelli still has to finish that chance, even if you have Osimhen and those guys. Yeah, they probably get another chance in the score. But in that situation, it doesn't matter if you have 10 other strikers in the team. Martinelli has to score his chance. The chance will drop to someone. You have to score that chance, and he missed the chance, and that becomes a problem because Everyone else, like the likes of Rice and Marino, they've worked so hard. So one chance, and then you know what to do after that. If you get that chance and you get a 1-0, we know what to do after that. We can throw in another defender or another, a Jorginho in midfield, control the game and try and get a 1-0. But the moment you miss that chance, Bournemouth's confidence is still up, and literally 95 seconds later, they get a corner and they punish us from that. And once again, Martinelli was another problem. The first problem is Raya making mistakes, and then Saliba gets the red card is another problem, and then Martinelli missing that chance was another problem. And then on top of that, the way he defended that corner, absolutely horrific. And we usually are the ones who have a lot of set piece styles. They're the ones who caught us with that today. Very poor marking. And literally 95 seconds later, Christie shows Martinelli how to finish the chance. And that was absolutely disastrous. That was painful. The way that goal went in, absolutely painful, because I just knew like 95 seconds later, we should have scored that goal. We could not have considered that goal and that's in that situation. So very, very bad miss from Martinelli. And yeah, I mean, you're starting to look good in the last 2-3 games, but those kind of chances is what we need you to do. Against Brighton as well, we could easily have won that game with 10 men if Saka and Havertz scored their chances. In those situations, you're not going to score every single day. You're obviously going to miss. Actually, you're going to miss half your chances. Even Haaland is going to score 40% and miss 60%. Everyone is going to miss more. You're going to miss more than you score. That is the truth. But in this kind of situations, when you miss like 6-7 gilt-edged chances, because from my head already, I can think about the chance that he missed against Atalanta, Martinelli. That could have been 1-0. Could have won that game as well. Terrible. And you consider from that right away. And then to make it worse, Kivio. Oh my goodness. That was absolutely horrific. Like the bad thing, I've never felt this way about Arsenal since we played against Fulham. I've not felt this way. Like even the game against Aston Villa, even against Liverpool in the FA Cup, I've not felt this way about a game since Fulham. Like just very down where you look at the game, you're like, yeah, we deserve to lose. Like everyone in that game was absolutely horrific. Against Aston Villa last year, we had a couple of chances we could have scored. Against Liverpool, we actually dominated Liverpool in the FA Cup, but we lost the game. But this particular one reminded me of the Fulham game where you just look at the team and you're like, this is not looking good. Like we've gotten a red card. Raya is making mistakes. Kiv is making mistakes. Ateta is making mistakes. Martinelli is missing chances. Trossard is making mistakes. Like everything is just wrong. Everything, even White did not look that good as well. So everything was just all over the place. Ben White was putting in some terrible crosses as well that we needed to keep possession in, and he was just putting in the cross to no one. I just like, this is a very bad day, very, very bad day. And that Kivio mistake was basically the icing on a very, very untasty cake, if that is a word. A very sour cake. That was a horrific mistake by Kivio, because if Kivio doesn't make that mistake, he might still get a 1-1. And the reason why we didn't win the league last season was obviously because we didn't beat Aston Villa, but number two is because some of the games that we lost, if we drew those games, we could have won the league. Man City last season, the games that they couldn't win, they drew. Man City had a lot of draws last season. They drew twice with Chelsea, they drew with Liverpool, they drew with Tottenham, they drew with Arsenal, they drew with a lot of teams last season, Man City. So if you can't win the game, make sure to get out of there with a draw. But when Kivio makes that mistake, it just kills everything. You just feel like, yeah, let's get out of here. Like every other player probably feels like that as well. And we were this close to making Raya pick up a red card as well. Like that would have been even more disastrous. Like not having Raya and Saliba against Liverpool, I don't know where we would have hid ourselves next week. So they get the penalty. They score it obviously in a game like this where you don't expect the goalkeeper to save it. When it goes bad, it just goes bad with everything. And then 2-0 to Arsenal, 2-0 to Arsenal, I wish, to Bournemouth, and it's pretty much game over. Even though if it was the 78th minute, I just knew the game was over. Kivio went off, Marino went off, Jesus came on, Onei came on. Too late, and again, we don't really expect Nwaneri to, take the ball and get us 3 goals in a game where we're down to 10 men with 10 minutes to go, where Bournemouth just need to defend. And Jesus has not been on form for a while as well, so you don't expect him to, come on and score you 3 goals. So it was just over. Even with those subs, are just like, this one is over. Let's just get out of here and wait for Shakhtar and Liverpool next week. A lot went wrong today. Like 20 different things went wrong today. And the problem is it has also affected our game against Liverpool next week. Now, last season, I remember there's a game we lost to a smaller team, and then we went on to beat the bigger teams. I think Liverpool, which game was, there's a game that we lost. Was it like Fulham? And then we went on to beat Liverpool in the February and had a lot of big results. Yes, we can still go and beat Liverpool and beat Newcastle, but it becomes hard and then it becomes more desperate because now we've lost the game today. We know that we have to beat Liverpool next week. We know after that we have to beat Newcastle because looking at Man City have like Wolves. They are going to play Southampton and those teams. I'm expecting them to win. Liverpool are going to play us and all that, but now you can't afford to lose to Liverpool as well next week. That would be very, very bad. And a lot went wrong. So let me see what you guys are saying before I come to the player ratings. I'm absolutely down, man. I'm absolutely down. I feel terrible. What a dark night for us, says Cheston. Horrible. It couldn't have gotten any worse, honestly. No replacement for Bukayo Saka. We need a striker in January. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Noneri at midfield better than Marino. I don't agree with that. Daniel, we have to know the situation in the game. This is not a Nwaneri game. Nwaneri is not going to work as hard as Merino in this particular game. Merino, Partey, and Rice were absolutely okay. In terms of midfield, they worked hard. If you bring in Nwaneri in this game, you're going to lose 4-0. Merino's making those challenges in midfield, and in midfield, when you're down to 10 men, you have to keep the midfield tight. You can't lose the midfield battle. You can't just say, you can do it in the last 15 minutes when you're desperate, but if you remove Merino, remove Partey, and then you bring in Nwaneri, you could score 1, but you could also concede 4. So this is not a Nwaneri type of game. If we have 11 men on the pitch, then fine. But if when you're down to 10 men, no, and I don't think I don't think Nwaneri not starting and Merino starting was why we lost the game today. That is not the reason. We lost the game today because Trossard made a horrific mistake, because Martinelli missed a one-on-one chance, because Saliba made a bad decision in terms of bringing down the player, because Kivio made a mistake. Those are the reasons, because Ateta made a mistake in terms of taking off Sterling early on and bringing on Kivio. Those are the mistakes we made today, but not Merino, Partey, or Rice, or Gabriel. Nah, that was not the problem today. Let's see. Why are we playing 3 defensive midfielders, says Emmanuel? Merino's going to play as a number 10 because he played as a number 10 for Spain in this other game that I watched the other day against Serbia, and he was really good as a number 10. He was creating chances and all that. From the start, fine. You can say start Nwaneri from the start, but as I said, that was we could probably still have won that game if he had 11 men. We still win that game with Merino on the pitch. And when you're down to 10 men, you cannot play Nwaneri in that game. You're going to be murdered in that midfield if you don't have like the energy and work rate in that. Like in a game like today, if you don't have Declan Rice, we are going to lose 4-0. Like that work rate when you're down to 10 men, because he has the legs and all that. You have to have some kind of resistance in midfield. Late substitutions, as Costa says, Chizu. Joshua says, in certain situations, I think Mikel should start trusting Nwaneri and giving him more minutes. That boy is good. Yeah, but not when you're down to 10 men in this particular game. He needed that midfield in that position. Maybe if you take off a forward player, maybe if you're saying, take off Matt Sterling or Trossard and then bring in Nwaneri, fine, but not midfield. You cannot mess around with that midfield when you're down to 10 men. You're going to be destroyed. And you don't want to have, it's already a very, very horrific day. You don't want to have a double horrific day. Poor team, look at the bench, nothing. Merino and Sterling below average. This season we are not going anywhere, says Charles. Now that is what I'm not going to say. I'm not going to give up on the season because we've lost to Bournemouth. Very bad result. Like, I'm very down. Like, I might even not even talk to anyone for the next 1 week. Very, very terrible day. We should not be losing to Bournemouth. Horrific day, horrific performance for majority of the players. Total risk is not over, but if you go and you lose to Liverpool and Newcastle as well, then it becomes bad. Now you have to win against Liverpool next week. And we have to win our games. That's why I'm not saying let's hope Man City or Liverpool drop points tomorrow. I'm just usually expecting them to win every single game. So we just need to do our job. And next week is one of those. We need to beat Liverpool next week. Joshua says, well, also had a bad day, very bad day. This was just a bad day for us. Let's go back and cook again. We need a lot of going back to the drawing board this week. The earlier to understand that Nwaneri is the solution to Odegaard, the earlier we move forward. From the start, no problem. Like, in terms of starting the game, that is fine. If Nwaneri starts a game, I don't have a problem. Let's see. Please subscribe and smash the like button, says RK. Thank you. How will you start Sterling ahead of Nwaneri, says Moise? If you want to start Nwaneri on the right side, I have no problem with that. But from the 3-4 comments I've read from Mia Siwaji, it looks like you're complaining about Sterling. Sterling is not the reason why we lost that game. Sterling was our best player for 25 minutes. Actually, our best chances came from Sterling. I actually don't think Sterling should have gone off. I think that was a bad decision from Arteta. So the reason why we lost this game is not because of Sterling. It's because of other reasons. I'm actually glad I'm not seeing comments about Havertz, because of people who don't like Havertz who start saying things like we lost this game because of Havertz. No. I've loved Trossard a lot, but we lost the game because of him. I love Martinelli a lot, but we went 1-0 down because he missed his chance. We have to say the truth, however much we love the players. Defeat accepted, and we move on, says Mashik, with a lot of bitterness, though. Like, it becomes harder. We have to now win a lot of the games. Now, I don't expect us to go undefeated. I said we're going to lose 4 games this season and draw 4. That is 1. That means you only have an opportunity to lose 3 more. But obviously need to reduce on the draws and stuff like that. And I usually prefer getting the draw instead of losing the game. Like in a game like today, if you can't score, just get the 0-0 and get out of there. But losing 2-0 becomes very bad. I'm so sad because of the defeat. It's a part of football, says Solomon. I'm disappointed in my team, says Anu. Very disappointed. I don't expect Sterling to be out. You should have subbed off Trossard. I agree. Mubarak says that system of believing in total football is still a dream for us to winning trophies. In fact, see how Sengols comes through attacking. Don't know what you mean about saying goals. Mubarak. Guys, let's not complain too much because of one game. Yes, it's a bad day for Arsenal boys, and I believe we'll bounce back. For me, I'm not complaining. I mean, I'm not complaining about the mistakes, obviously. I mean, a lot of people have had a bad day today, very, very bad game today. But I'm slightly worried. I always tell myself over the last 2 years, I'm always like, we can survive a game without Odegaard. We can survive a game without Saka. But can we survive without both of them on the pitch? And today, I was like, nah. Even in the corners, the corner kicks that we got, if Saka is on the pitch, you probably score one of them. But now, when Saka is not there as well, we just don't have anyone to take a corner from that side. So everything just becomes a mess. Like, he has to be on the pitch. I don't know what you're going to do with Saka, but he has to be there next week. We cannot play that game without Saka and Saliba and Odegaard. It would be disastrous. I don't know what I'd rather even just keep Saka out of the Shakhtar game just to make sure he's going to play the Liverpool game. Ajami says that the team should shoulder all the blame. The players need to be mentally prepared and grow for their earlier mistakes. Ata should show more trust in young players, particularly when they have demonstrated their potential, like Nwaneri. It's worrying to see Martinelli repeatedly missing clear chances. This lack of efficiency and seriousness is concerning. I agree with everything that you say there, Ajami. Definitely, I don't agree that taking out Sterling, that was a bad decision for me. You can even say if you wanted Nwaneri to start, that is fine. Maybe it helps us create a couple of more chances before we get the red card. That is fine. But those missing chances and those, we score our chance and we win the game. So that is a massive problem. And the mistake from Kiwi just kills everything. Any hope that you have, it just kills everything. The 2 goals that we considered today both came from mistakes. Bournemouth did not dribble past us and create a chance. We literally gave them 2 goals, then they punished us with both. If we talk about the Brighton game as well, the goal that we considered, it was a Gabriel mistake. Brighton did not cut us open and dribble past us and put in a good cross and score. Another game where it is a mistake. So if you look at the goals that we've considered this season, just like last season, you'll find like 90% of them are from Arsenal mistakes, as always. So we need to cut those mistakes out urgently. And now, usually when a player makes a mistake like that, you can say, Trossard, you don't start next game. Bad mistake, you're on the bench, but he is going to have to start. It's now if Saka is out, and so next week, for example, Kivia does not deserve to start 100%. But if Tomiyasu is out and Timber is out, and then we hear on Thursday Calafiori is not 100%, what do? You're going to have to start Kivia. So yeah, we don't have, like, especially in the forward positions, we don't have enough players for sure. We don't have enough players. The form and the squad Arsenal into this season is taking them nowhere because the form Arsenal into last season are not the same from what it was last season. Again, I don't really agree with that. Actually, before this game, the points, the goals scored, the goals conceded was the exact same as it was last season. We don't want it to be the exact same. We want it to be a little bit better because that is the way we can beat Man City. I mean, listen, I'm very, very, like, this is a disastrous day. Like, I don't even know what to say. This is a very bad day. And I'm worried about the game that is coming up because of everything that has happened today. But it is not like over, like, oh my goodness, Arsenal is not going to be in the title race now. That is not the case. It becomes harder. You have now the room for making another mistake becomes slimmer now. If you had like 3 lives, now you have 2 lives, to to survive with the whole season. We definitely need to get a couple of forward players in January, 100%, but we're in October. We have to survive up until January. We have like 20 more games between now and January, so we have to find a way to get through those games. The injuries have not helped as well, but we always talk about having a squad depth. But yeah, not having Saka, Odegaard, Saliba, and those guys is not going to help. But we have to survive. But I still think, beating Aston Villa, beating Tottenham, drawing in Man City 10. We've had some good results this season, but it doesn't make sense if you draw with Man City 10 men and then beat Tottenham and then you go and lose to Bournemouth and Ipswich. That becomes doesn't make sense. So if you're going to beat Man City and beat Tottenham, you also need to beat Bournemouth. You're not going to win every single game, but if you lose to Aston Villa away, you're like, okay, bad day, but okay, it's Aston Villa, they're number 4 on the table. But Bournemouth, nah. But horrific day. Kivio, not Arsenal standard, says, Eric, that was a horrific mistake. Very bad mistake. What a nightmare of a game, says KK. Yep. Sterling brought Chelsea bad luck to Arsenal. Sterling is on a mission to send Arsenal to relegation. Arsenal must learn their lesson in a hard way. Again, wrong player. Sterling was not the reason why Arsenal lost the game today. Bad luck and those stuff, I don't know. Maybe, but in terms of Sterling did this, Sterling did that. Sterling did not do anything wrong today. We did not lose the game because of Sterling today. One says Arteta useless. He's not playing Noneri. If he plays 10 men on his defense, look at Spurs. No, come on. We are going too far now. We don't look at Spurs for advice, man. You don't look at Spurs for advice. Today, I agree with what you're saying. I don't think we needed to go to like defensive right away against Bournemouth. I wanted us to keep Sterling on, and then he did that. He actually kept the same squad for the 8 minutes after the red card. He kept the same lineup, but after Bournemouth created like 2-3 chances, that is when he panicked right away and brought off Sterling and brought in Kivio. I still wouldn't have done it. And if you have to take off a player, I think it had to be Trossard, not Sterling. Sterling was playing better than Trossard at that point, and we have to be fair. I know Trossard is a clutch player, is probably going to be the one to get a chance and score, but in that situation, it was not fair to like Sterling to take him off and keep Trossard, because he was looking better than Trossard today. William says he predicted 3 losses in that season. No, I predicted 4. I said we're going to win 30. Lose 4 and draw 4. So far we've drawn 2 and we've lost 1. So that means I'm still expecting 3 more losses and 2 more draws. That will still put you to 94 points. You still win the league with 94 points. You probably win the league with 90 points. But now what this does, it kills the confidence a bit, and you start thinking, oh my goodness, we can't win without Saka and Odegaard on the pitch. And then, it brings some fans talking about Sterling was a bad buy, and other people are like, why did Nane not start? So it just kills the momentum that you have. And the games that are coming up, this was the easiest. We have Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, Inter Milan, all coming up. So we'll do much better next time, says Stewart. Injuries in the international break is spoiling our plan this season. Definitely has cost us, and it's actually annoying me a lot, because most of the players that are injured have been injured in the international break. Zinchenko's injured in the international break. Zinchenko not made that big difference today, but I'm saying, like, Zinchenko being out, it was international break. Odegaard international break. Saka international break. So yeah, next international break, we might have to ban every player from going. You can't do that because FIFA rules say if a player is called up, they have to go. You can't do anything about that, but we have to play some more of the dark arts. I'd say he's too defensive minded, and even at that, he lost to a low rated team too. But today, yeah, I agree today. Bad decision. You should try and still keep it the way it is. Don't panic. Even if Bournemouth score, you still have another 45 minutes to try and get things done. So let's go to the player ratings. Today's player ratings is not going to be as high as it usually is. Even in the loss against Brighton, I think I still gave a few players high ratings. Against Man City, last minute conceded, I still gave the players high ratings and stuff. But today, I don't think so. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 0 player ratings. Not the best day at all. Actually, horrific day. The worst day as an Arsenal fan since we played Fulham on December 31st last year. So basically, the whole year, we're in October now. This is the worst day as an Arsenal fan. Maybe even worse than the Aston Villa day, because the Aston Villa one, yeah, bad loss, but it's different. But this one hurt very badly. So let's start with David Dreyer. David Dreyer has been absolutely incredible for us this season. But today's game was probably the worst game that he's had in an Arsenal shirt. He the first half, he gave away the ball. Bournemouth had a chance. They almost punished us. In the second half, he also miskicked the ball. The penalty gave away. I don't really blame him. That is a Kivio mistake, but it was not a great day at all. For even rare, there's a time that a cross came in, and instead of like punching it or grabbing it, literally just flapped it and it dropped down almost to a Bournemouth player. So Rare has been getting 9s and 10s this season, but today, David Rare, we have to go according to the game. And today's Rare's performance, it was a 4 out of 10. That is the lowest he's gotten so far this season. Horrific performance, 4 out of 10. Centre backs, Gabriel. I don't think Gabriel was that bad. I don't think any of the goals came from him at all. But yeah, we considered 2 goals, so nothing to say much about Gabriel. I'm going to try and rewatch the game again. I always rewatch the Arsenal game to see what I missed, but this one is going to be very hard to rewatch. Gabriel gets a 6 out of 10 for today. I think that is fair enough. William Saliba. Man, this is a bad red card, guys. This is a bad red card. He's going to miss the Liverpool game, man. Like that is just the worst time. Like, how have we managed to have Declan Rice getting a red card and missing the Tottenham game, and then Saliba getting a red card to miss the Liverpool game? Like that is just horrific. Like that is the world is falling on you, literally. Saliba, it was not his mistake. It was a mistake from Trossard. Trossard put him in a very bad position. But with that red card, I don't think you have to foul the guy. I literally did not think you have to foul the guy. You can just let him score. You know, there's a lot of consequences that foul has a lot of consequences. You're having to play a third game of the season with 10 men, and then it's basically a whole game without 10 men. It's not like in the 80th minute or something. And then on top of that, you missed the Liverpool game. So not great. And that's the first time I've had Saliba having like 2 bad games in a row, because they also had a bad game for France last time. And then today, that red card, we have to take it into consideration as well. We have to punish it as well in the ratings, and I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. Not really his mistake that much, but I think it's a bad decision either way. Just let him pass. Don't foul the play there. And he's not going to give you a yellow card. He's going to give you a red card. You're an Arsenal player, so it's a red card anyway. But yeah, he's not going to not give you a red card, especially the VAR there. Terrible. Calafiori. I mean, we are a bit open. There's a couple of times that Semenyo had the opportunity to score on that side, on Calafiori's side. Again, Calafiori and Gabriel, I don't think they're as bad as some of the others, but I think Calafiori just average performance, 5 out of 10. Again, I'm going to rewatch the game, but Calafiori, 5 out of 10. They probably had a lot of challenges and all that to make today because we were down to 10 men, so they had a lot of work to do today for sure. So Calafiori gets a 5 out of 10. Right back. Let's go to the right back. That is Ben White. Again, not the best performance. I don't think he was as horrible as some of the players. I think there's like 3-4 other players who were more terrible. But Ben White wasn't the best as well. So I'm just going to give Ben White a 5 out of 10 for today. Yeah, I'm going to watch the game again, as I said. But yeah, bad day to return to. I was super excited about Ben White coming back. I was very happy and all that. Bad day to come back. So Ben White, 5 out of 10. That is the difference. Hopefully, that is fair enough. Thomas Partey, in midfield, I think Thomas Partey worked hard. Didn't really make any errors. I could see him even in the 90th minute sprinting back to cover for us. So I think Partey was okay. I'm actually going to give Partey 7 out of 10. I think midfield, I don't think midfield was our problem. So Partey 7 out of 10. I think he worked extremely hard. So 7 out of 10 for Thomas Partey. Declan Rice, I am going to say the same for Declan Rice. I think in terms of energy and work rate, it was Declan Rice. Like when you're down to 10 men, Declan Rice can, make you feel like you're 10.5. At least like he's 1.5, he can make you try. He can try for you, basically. So 7 out of 10 for Rice and Partey. Don't think they did anything wrong today. They worked extremely hard in midfield. 7 out of 10 for him. The only thing I can say about Rice, the corners, I don't know if it's because he's taking them from the other side. The corners are not great, and unfortunately, most of them are coming on that side, and Saka's not on the pitch, so the corners are not the best. 7 out of 10 for him, though. Next midfielder was Merino. Merino, again, another player who worked extremely hard. In that game, when you're down to 10 men, I was hoping to see a lot of attacking from Merino today, but the moment you get the red card, he's having to do defensive work. You don't really get to see any of his attacking work. He had an opportunity before before Sterling was subbed off. I think he should have gotten it on target. But again, I think Mourinho, in terms of energy and work rate, 7 out of 10 for the midfielders. Midfield was not our problem today. 7 out of 10 for all the midfielders. Up front, let's start with who started on the left side? Trossard. Horrific mistake. Basically, we got the red card because of him. You can even argue from the start, we lost that game because of him. So you cannot make that mistake. You cannot. That was a horrible pass, very bad pass, and that is not the standards. As I would say that is not the standards. And even after that, I don't think he looked good at all for the rest of the game. And he basically put Saliba in a bad situation, and he put the team in a bad situation. I think he should have been the one to go off instead of Sterling. So for that mistake, he's actually going to be punished more on the player ratings than Saliba. So Trossard, 3 out of 10. Bad mistake. You cannot do that in this particular game. You cannot do that. Maybe you can give him a 4, but 3 out of 10. It's inexcusable. You cannot do that. And it was such an easy pass, and he hit it with so much power as well. Terrible. 3 out of 10. Sterling on the other side, he only played 35 minutes. So I'm giving him a rating for 35 minutes. When he was on the pitch, I think Sterling was our best player. I saw him giving away the ball once, but apart from that, I think Sterling was okay. So I'm going to give Sterling a 6 out of 10. He should have stayed on the pitch. He created the 2 chances that we had in that first half. 6 out of 10 for Sterling. Unfortunately for him and Merino, the first time they started in the Premier League for Arsenal, it's we've asked for different work from them. Sterling had to be subbed off, and Merino, we had asked him to do defensive work instead of getting on the ball and, trying to create a couple of chances and getting into the box later on. Yeah, Havertz. I think Havertz has always worked hard, got us a couple of corners. I mean, you don't expect Havertz to do like Rooney or Aguero, Thierry Henry, and dribble past 5 players and score. In terms of work rate, what you need to do, he didn't really get a chance today to score, and he will say, he missed a chance now. So 6 out of 10 for Havertz for today. Worked hard, got us a couple of corners with individual, pace and work rates, but we didn't use them. 6 out of 10. The only time he came just close to score was from the corner, but that was not a good chance at all anyway. So that is the full lineup. Now the players who came on. Who was the first sub to come on? Kivio. That was even a worse mistake than the Trossard one, That was even worse than the Trossard one. That was absolutely horrific. That's why I even have him on the thumbnail as well, Kivio, because that was absolutely horrific, because that just kills everything. Maybe if he doesn't make that mistake, we get a corner and we get an equalizer and we get the draw. But that was horrific. And he did. Now, we have to be fair as well. In the first half, when he came on, there's a couple of tackles that he made, and I was like, okay, those good tackles. He gave away a couple of corners, but he made some good tackles and good defending. But did not look good for that. That mistake has to be punished heavily. That is a bad mistake. So just because I was about to give him a 3 as well, but just because when he came on the first 10 minutes that he was on just before halftime, he was okay. He made a couple of good clearances and all that. So I'm just going to give him a 4 out of 10. But that mistake, absolutely unforgivable. That takes away 4 on your player ratings right away. So 4 out of 10 for him. Gabriel Martinelli. Listen, when he came on, I was super excited. I knew this is the guy that is going to get a couple of chances and maybe help us create. And right away he came on, he put in a very good cross, and I was like, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need on the pitch. But that chance drops to you. You have to make it 1-0. When you're down to 10 men, you're not going to get another 3-4 chances. You have to score that. And the whole 90 minutes, that is the only real chance that we got. So it proves the point that you're going to get a few chances. He got a chance and he did not score it. And either side of the goalkeeper, left, right, you scored the goal. It is a mistake from them. We didn't punish them. And even in the corner kick that they scored from, Martinelli was around there as well, in terms of sleeping. Nah. 5 out of 10 for Martinelli. Bad chance. Bad miss in terms of that chance. Bad miss. Was those? That's the only subs that we made. I mean, Jesus and Nwaneri. Can we really rate them? I don't really think so. So just Jesus 5 and Waneri 5. They went on for too long and the game was pretty much over at that point. I'd already even stopped watching the game at that point. I was just like, this one is over. This one is definitely over. You're not going to get back from this one. 5 out of 10 for Jesus and Waneri. Mikel Arteta. Now for big wins like against Tottenham, I gave it a like 9. I actually gave it a 10 out against Tottenham because we didn't have Rice and Odegaard on that day, and it's going to won the game. Like teams like Aston Villa, games like that, I gave him a 9. Against Man City, I think I gave him an 8 or something. Those easy wins, like the games that we make it easy, like Wolves and games like that, I gave him like a 7 out of 10, good win and all that. When he makes a mistake, we also have to talk about it. Now, lineup-wise, some of you have said you wanted Nonoi to start. Personally, I don't have a problem with the starting lineup. Defensively, fine. Midfield, some of you want Nonoi to start. I had Trossard starting there and Martinelli starting on the left side in my lineup. Just go for it. And Martinelli was on the bench, so he made the squad. I did not have Merino starting for me, but I don't think Merino not like starting like is like, oh my goodness, I cannot forgive you for starting Merino and not starting None. I don't think it's unforgivable. But I do understand None should be getting a chance. I do understand that. He has been given chances this season. It's not like last season where they were never played at all. But starting lineup, I'm okay with. I don't really have a problem with starting lineup. Where I have the problem is taking out Sterling because he was our best player and you cannot take out your best player in that situation. You have to keep him on the pitch, and he went defensive too early in the game. So it was a very crucial mistake. Yeah. Red card is not his fault. It's not his Trossard and Saliba in that situation. Second half, could he have done anything better? I wanted Martinelli to come on for Trossard in that point. That is fine. I don't think it's a game where you take off Marina and bring in Nwaneri. Maybe the last like 15 minutes, 20 minutes when you like want to go for it. But in terms of early in the second half, take off Marina and bring in Nwaneri. Now, this kind of game, you needed to work so hard. So I don't have a problem with that. My problem is taking out Sterling and keeping Trossard on the pitch. And yeah, I don't even have a problem with the starting lineup. So today, Arteta is going to get the lowest rating of the season. Nah, I'm not even going to give him this. I'm going to give it slightly lower because I think in the first like 30 minutes of that game, even before the red card, we did not look good anyway. So it's just going to be a 4 out of 10 for Arteta. Horrible day for us. Horrific day. Absolutely horrific day. So 4 out of 10. Man of the match, probably Declan Rice. I'm not going to talk about man of the match day. But those of the player ratings, horrible day. RK, thank you for the super chat. This near away kit, better result next time. Is it the kit? Could it be the kit? When you used to wear the yellow and you used to lose all the games, the first time you wear this kit, the other kits that you've won the previous seasons, the pink and the green, you've had a lot of good luck with those kits. Princess, Saliba 3, White 4, Atita 4 for Prince. Morgan says, I would sub Glenn for this loss. I really blame Atta for not using Ethan instead of Trossard. You mean from the start of the game, and even Sterling being slow in the game, at least Jesus first, then Sterling second half. Again, I don't agree with that. I think Sterling was our best player before he came off. So I'm actually I'm not happy because I've seen like 5 different people blaming it on Sterling. We did not lose the game because of Sterling. Sterling was our best player before he came off. We lost we would have won that game with Sterling on the pitch if we didn't get that red card. And Trossard did not make that mistake, and Saliba did not pick up that red card. So Sterling was the one who created the 2 chances that we had before he got the red card, and the big one was the Merino one. Was it actually after the red card before you subbed off? Merino Sterling made the run. He went past a couple of players. He put in a good cross for Merino, and he missed that. That could have been 1-0. And I think he was our best outlet in that particular situation. So I don't think it was a Sterling mistake today. I don't think it is. Starting Noneri, fine. Shocking performances, that's not good enough today, and I support Man United. Says now, yeah, that even makes me feel worse. A Man United fan of telling us shocking performance. It just shows you how bad of a day we had. Edie says referees against Arsenal. Yeah, that is true, but I think it was a red card. And you give a referee a chance to make that's a decision they're going to make it. They hate Arsenal already, so yeah, we must understand there will be days like this. Guys, stop this bad talk and let's go again. Says Nosu. Yeah, I said you're going to lose 4 games this season, so you're obviously going to lose games. But losing today means now you only have 3 more losses to go, or or maybe even less if you're going to win the league convincingly, whatever. Saka is not a problem. The problem is starting Sterling ahead of Jesus, so Martinelli has started to be confused now. Starting Martinelli, I think Martinelli did not start because he came back with an injury. I think if we had 2-0 at halftime, I think Martinelli doesn't come on that game. I think he only came on because it was an emergency situation. Jesus. But then again, we cannot say that Jackson as well, because the last 3-4 games, also, if you read the comments, a lot of people have been saying Jesus, I don't want to ever see him again in the starting lineup. So I'm one of the people that say they want Jesus to stay at Arsenal, and I don't really agree with that. So yeah, but fair enough, Jackson. I appreciate your opinion. William says people have spoiled the ticket. Not sure what you mean about that. But yeah, horrific day. We have to bounce back from this. I wish we were actually playing in the Premier League again on Tuesday or something, but we are playing a Champions League game. Now we have to win that game, obviously. The home games, the Champions League, you have to win all of them. And then Liverpool next week now becomes very important. I don't know what they're going to do against Chelsea tomorrow. If Liverpool go and win 4-0 in that game tomorrow, then they come into our game very confident, very, very confident. TD says, why didn't we play Lewis instead of Kivio? Again, that is very fantasy. That is very fantasy. Like, you cannot talk about bringing in Lewis Skelly when you're down to 10 men. Number one, I don't think it's fair on the player to ask him to do that kind of job. That kind of situation needs a lot of experience. That's why in that kind of game, you need players like Rice and Partey and Gabriel to be on that pitch. I don't think you go down to 10 men and then we're talking about bringing on Lewis Kelly and Nwaneri. You're going to lose that game 6-0, and then people will start saying, different stuff. Why did he bring on Lewis Kelly in this particular game? We are short on defenders. Now, next week, we'll see what we'll do. I think Lewis Kelly and Nwaneri are very good players. I don't have a problem with them starting a game. No, but I'm saying going down to 10 men, I don't think this is a game that you bring on Nwaneri and bring in Lewis Kelly. It's too much pressure on them either way as well. This is a game that needs you to work extremely hard, man. Extremely hard. Kivio was given the chance. He did not do the job. So, yeah, that one I agree. Next week, he potentially doesn't start. So we have to find who to start next week. I really hope Timber is back next week, because if Timber is not back next week, Zinchenko is back. You know what that means? Zinchenko against Salah again. Jesus Christ, no. It's already hurt us like 4 times over the last 2 seasons. We don't want to see that one again. No, next week is not the Zinchenko game. You can start Zinchenko against Shakhtar. Maybe I'd even do that and rest Calafiori, because Liverpool now, we don't have enough defenders in that game. And I'm really hoping Saka is back for that game. Really, really badly hoping Saka is back for that game. But yeah, bad day either way. Morgan says, Glenn, do you think it's international break makes us lose this match? International break, I'm going to blame it for the first 20-25 minutes of the game. And no, even if we played that game yesterday and we played today, we should be beating Bournemouth. Even with that lineup, Sterling on the pitch, Kivio on the pitch, we should still be winning that game. We should not be losing to that Bournemouth side. So, yeah, we have to be real. For me, I just made a mistake taking out Sterling and going defensive that early. If you wanted to take off a player, you take off Trossard, because he has made a mistake. He is not looking good. Sterling was better. I don't have a problem with the starting lineup. Trossard made that mistake. We blame him as well. Saliba, decision-making that situation. I don't think you need to foul the player. Just let him score. Let him go through one-on-one. Doesn't necessarily mean he's 100% going to score. Martinelli, that chance, you have to score your chance. And overall, extremely bad day. It's now affected our game next week, because you're going to miss Saliba for 1 game. That is our first loss away from home the entire year. That's the first game we've lost this season. So quite terrible. Quite terrible. So next games that we have, Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea, big games. If you go and you pick up 9 points from that game, maybe even 7, I'll be okay with that. Then you're like, okay, that is okay. But now what you can't afford to lose another game out of those 3 games. Now we can't lose another game for another 2-3 months. We can't afford to. Losses can come. I've said 4 losses. But, in my head, I'm thinking, you beat Man City once and then they beat you once, fine. Man City can beat anyone. If you beat Liverpool once and they beat you once, okay. But losing this kind of games, you can't do that. So, yeah, bad day, man. I just need to. These are the kind of days I don't like getting online and, watching Sky Sports and those kind of stuff. Nah, I know what they're going to stay. They've waited for us not to lose a game for so long. they're going to be on to us. So this is the day I really avoid being online. I appreciate you guys. We have another game on Tuesday, so we have to right away jump to the Shakhtar game tomorrow and start talking about that one. We seriously need to put this game behind us. And if we win the game against Liverpool next week, then yes, it's a bad defeat, but maybe it cools it down a little bit. But if we go again and we lose to Liverpool back to back, yeah, we don't want another West Ham Fulham situation where we lost 2 games in a row. We don't want that. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. And I'll catch up with you on the next one.